This needs to have a layer of sand dug off to expose these breathing holes. Only then will these breathing holes be exposed. It's even spitting water out. How much is there here? There are also quite a lot of sea cicadas here. Just sprinkle salt on it and wait. I feel like I can catch a lot in this one area. A bowl's worth. Oh, the tongue broke off over there. You need to pull gently when you tug it. Don't use too much force. Even these are crawling up themselves. It's like they're waiting for me to come and pick them up. I don't want these small ones. Look, just in this little area. I caught this whole plateful. It can't be arranged now. There are too many. Actually, using salt water to catch these spoonforms is not very easy to catch. Hey, it's out. How big is my professional life? Look at how big this one is. It's really close to being king. This is also a mantis shrimp hole. It's together with that one. This hole is so close. If there are mantis shrimps, they shouldn't be very big. Usually, mantis shrimps dig holes. The big ones dig very far away. The ones that are relatively close should be small mantis shrimps. I don't even know if it's home or not. I'll poke it out and see. Hey, it's home. Look how small it is. It's this small. No wonder its hole is dug so shallow. Too awesome. This mantis shrimp likes to live in the mud. It's this small. Let's go. Now these seaweed tendrils are too white after being sun-dried. This also grows in the sand. But this one isn't completely white yet. A few of them are white. I can pick them out. The rest are still edible. There's also a sandfish here. This fish is still alive. This one isn't small either. Let it swim a bit. The sand lance isn't fat right now. Its size is this big, but it's very thin. This fish can only live for a year. It can't live long. Look how thin its head is. Its head itself is supposed to be a big head. This turbot is faster than the mud skipper. This one also hides in the sand. See it? It's the exact same color as the sand. If it lives on this beach, the color on its body is basically close to the sand. Why does its back look like this? It has spots. It's stranded on this beach. It can live if there's water. These kinds of bulges are the standard cat's eye snails. It's hiding so deep. This one is not small. You can tell it's a rich lady. This cat's eye snail seems to be eating sand. There's a lot of moisture. These cat's eye snails are absorbing a lot of water now. When it's cold, they absorb less water. This kind of sea anemone has completely shrunk into the sand. The tide just receded. The sand isn't completely. Why is it so short? I really didn't expect this. Look, its flower is quite big. It's all this yellow inside. This is especially delicious. What kind of anemone is this round one? There are fewer flowering sea anemones now. There are a lot more of these sand anemones on the beach. This one isn't small either. It's full of water inside. It grows on these shells. All the water came out in a moment. After the water comes out, it becomes very short. It's just this small. Look, I've stuck bamboo sticks in all the holes, just waiting for them to come up. This one is also moving. I'll fish for this one. I can feel them coming up, look. Help me grab that one. If you're not quick, it'll run away. Yes, grab it, then lift, grab slowly. There's a box like this in every hole. This one has a soft shell. This one is soft. Soft shells can't survive being bitten. Let it go, they're all soft shells. Find a hole to let it go. Shush, shush. There are so many. There's so much. There must be tens of pounds. Just these small ones. It's full of surf clams. It's most convenient to use this colander to scoop up surf clams. If it's sun-dried like this, all the small ones will be dried out directly. Can you see those white ones? Those are all slightly smaller ones. They can't fall through. They're all big ones. These big ones. These surf clams are especially delicious in noodles. Actually, the mesh size is still a bit small. It would be better if it was a bit bigger. This bit of sand washed out this many. Now there's a lot of it on the beach. This whole area is full of it. This is also a mottled crab. This one also took it away. It's hot. There are too many mottled crabs being taken away. It's also unwilling to go down. Its shell is completely exposed. Its shell is relatively hard. Seabirds can't break it. Look at the yellow ones. They're all small crabs. Let's let this one go. How many crabs are there? This one is so big. Now these long-legged octopuses are basically not on the beach. This one probably doesn't have a house. It doesn't have a place to hide. This is really the first time I've seen a long-legged octopus digging a hole. These legs must be over a meter long. If there's a tide here, after the surge, it'd just be taken away by the seabirds. I saw this big bulge from far away. Hey, this one shrunk too quickly. Some of these macro snails are like this right after the tide goes out. Their meat is particularly sensitive. If you touch it, it will shrink inside, as long as the wind is strong. This kelp is basically all broken up like this. I can't pick up anything good. This side has been dried out for a long time and turned green. If it wasn't dried, it would be brown. This side is dried. The sun is particularly harsh. It turned green directly. But if it's just a little green, it doesn't affect eating. It's coming out. This one is quite thin. Just a little more. It's broken. It shrunk back. I broke it by touching it. There's no way to save this one. If it had listened and come out, I could have released it. There's no way to release it after it broke like this. This one isn't small either. Look, this hole is quite thin inside. This spoonworm is quite fat. I crushed it. It's quite plump too. Look at this meat. Let's take it. This is also a breathing hole. This one should be a Venus clam. The tide is coming up here. The tide is rising here. This one isn't small either. If this moon snail gets this big, it can't grow any bigger. If it grows any bigger, the meat won't taste good anymore. Almost there. This breathing hole will be washed over by the tide. You won't be able to see it. This small river crab is nestled in the mountain. It's still alive. I almost stepped on it. Only its mouth is exposed outside. I'll see if it's still energetic. If it's stranded for a long time, it won't have any energy. Its mouth is so red. It's like it's wearing lipstick. Can you see it? These small walnuts aren't edible either. They're lying in the sand. If you're not careful, you can step on them. We can catch live ribbonfish here. If its belly is broken like this, it definitely can't survive. Many people don't believe that you can catch live ribbonfish. Here we have many ribbonfish that get caught in the same nets. At least then, they can't run away. So it's also possible to catch live ribbonfish on the beach. I've caught many live ones before. Is this an orange? This is the first time you found an orange while beachcombing. It's still good. This is definitely edible. The orange peel is thick. The sweetness can't get in. This jellyfish only has one tentacle left. These jellyfish tentacles can be like this. The tentacles have all fallen off. Only half of it is left. Just this kind of place. These are its true tentacles. This purple jellyfish is particularly powerful. I'm used to it now, and it doesn't sting me. I'm more familiar with it. This kind can also be eaten. As long as this jellyfish hasn't dissolved, it can be eaten. Just wash it and make a cold salad. If the wind is strong, it will be blown to pieces. This sea cucumber has completely dissolved. It seems to be still alive. It's moving, right? But it's almost dissolved. It's hot now. If you find this sea cucumber late, it will be gone directly. It will turn into water. This one is also useless. It can't live if you put it in water. No one wants it like this either. Look, this seaweed has grown on top. This one is also alive. Why is it growing so tall? It's growing on this rope, do you see it? This tide, when it rises, will be even higher than this. This one is really sturdy. It's not easy to grab. This one is also good. It's fresh. These can all be eaten. Look how tall. It's taller than me. Let's take this one. This horsehair line is lying here as if it's still alive. It's probably been here for quite a long time. It's growing seaweed on its body. This can't be eaten. This crab can definitely not be eaten after being out for so long. You can only eat live crabs. Let's put it in the sea for the crabs to eat. It's hard to spread salt after it gets wet. This won't work. Just like this. Just dig it out directly. It doesn't react if you sprinkle salt. Come this way. It's so hard. It's too hard. I can't dig it out. It should be about right. Hey, I've pulled it out. Its tongue keeps pulling down. This one is big. It's really fat. The breathing hole is still inside. I've noticed that if this spoonworm is fat, its nostril is particularly short, just this much. But this one also has 6 segments. It's just a bit short. The nostril of those that are thin is particularly long. This is still half of it. I blew it apart. It's this purple one. These are the true tentacles of a jellyfish. If normal people encounter this on the beach, they must never touch it with their hands. It's this kind of thing. They use this to protect themselves. If you're allergic, your hands will swell and itch. Just this one is enough for one meal. This is only half of it. I don't know where the other half went. Now that it's hot, these small swimming crabs are more common on the beach. These are all female crabs. They're quite plump. This one is too. On this beach, if you're barefoot, you can't step on these. You might step on a crab. This cat's eye snail is spraying back and forth into the sand. This one isn't small either. Let's wash it. If you wash this cat's eye snail in water, it won't shrink. If there's no water, it will shrink immediately after spraying like this. This one is clean now. Hey, this meat doesn't seem to be broken. This honeycomb is pretty good. It's sleeping, and there's a hole here. This cat toothpaste can't absorb water. The water is a bit hot now. Is this seafood big? It's much bigger than my palm. The seafood is getting soft from the heat. But this one is definitely still alive. You see, it moved out. But it's too soft, I'll break it. Let's put it in the water. This kelp is now mixed with these tiger mosses. They're all mixed together. This one is also fresh. This can be eaten. This kind can't be eaten. There's a lot of this tiger moss in the summer. The beach is all green. This whole area is full of it. If you didn't know, you'd think you've arrived at a grassland. This mantis shrimp doesn't dig holes. It's backstroking here. The spines of this one hurt when they prick you. This mantis shrimp. You have to be careful when grabbing this one. The tide just receded. This mantis shrimp is too energetic. This is a standard cat's eye snail bulge. It's completely settled. It shrinks really fast. Look how beautifully this water sprays. This one isn't small either. Someone dug one up here just now. This is also a king. I dug around. Why is the breathing hole still blocked? It's coming this way. Let's dig it out directly. If the beach is dry here, sprinkling salt won't work. The salt won't even dissolve. This one is hiding so deep. There it is. I see it. Can you see that tongue? I'll open it up for you guys to see. It's right inside this breathing hole now. It can't run away now. It's here. Now it can't run away, even if it wants to. Sometimes, sprinkling salt isn't as good as digging this out. It's easy to catch. After it feels the salt, it might just run away. This nose is all segmented. This one nose has 6 or 7 segments. This one too. This bamboo worm, it's and that. Spoonworm's breathing hole are different. The burrow opening of this spoonworm is smaller. It's coming. Oh no, this tongue keeps pulling in. Look how plump this meat is. It must have been cut by tourists for fun. It's cut into pieces like this. Wow, this. It's quite fun to cut jellyfish into pieces. This one is still fresh. If it's not fresh, it will break apart with just one touch. It hasn't been out long. This one must have been blocked by a fishing net. If you like to eat it, you can eat it. It's already been cut. Just mix it and it's ready. Hey, it broke as soon as I grabbed it. This one is also useless. Let's put it in the water. If we leave it here, it'll all stick together after being dried in the sun. These are actually 2 sea snails hugging each other. At first, I thought it was one shell. I didn't even pay attention to it. These must be a couple. Now even sea snails are no longer single. These 2 both have meat. One is big and one is small. Sea snails are still relatively rare on the beach. It's mostly sea snail shells. This is a bulge. If you don't often go beach, you wouldn't recognize this kind of bulge at all. A cat's eye snail bulge. You basically can't find it in the water. Let it take a ride. It's not very big. I've been eating a bit too many cat's eye snails recently. Let's put the small ones in the water. Half of it is out. Half of it is exposed. It really relies on its hard head. It's not afraid of seabirds. It's still spitting out water. Let me wash it again. Its shell is all bleached by the sun. This crab basically can't pinch people. It's relatively clumsy. This is the water it just spit out. I saw with my own eyes that it was spitting it out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen it. Let me take a look. Can you come out, sir? It can't come out. Let's just dig it out. Some of these spoonworms are especially clever. If you give them a bit of salt, they'll run away immediately. They don't hesitate at all. I think I've dug it out. It broke. I see half of it over here. Why are you running so fast? 2 segments broke off during the process. Whose fault is this? 2 segments broke off. This meat is still alive. So resilient. This noodlefish isn't alive anymore. It's dried into a stick. Many of these fish have been eaten by seabirds. It burrows in the sand. Its tail is so pointed. This one actually didn't burrow into the sand. The seabirds didn't find it either. After it used its power to burrow in the sand, it kept spitting water onto the beach. Look, all of these water splashes are from it. They're all these yellow granules. These yellow granules are actually very delicious. These breathing holes are all full of crabs. This one just went inside. I'll let it come out for a picture. This one isn't small either. Did you see it? A sand crab. This kind of crab runs especially fast. Let it run for a bit. It's running back in again. It recognizes its own hole. Its body is covered in sand. Let's flick it off. I'm letting it run, but it doesn't want to run. Let me give it a push. This crab doesn't have any meat. There are a lot of them on the beach. Can you see these little balls? They're all over this beach.